Hey guys, it's Mark from Erickson Machine and Performance. So today we're going to do basically a 1 year review on the Sidewinder X1 3D printer. And I'm going to 3D print a couple parts for working on RC cars. For those that don't know, one of my hobbies is RC cars. But more than that, I'm really into RC helicopters and planes, stuff like that. So there'll be a couple of those videos of just me playing in the near future. But I wanted to show you the two X1s that I own. These things over the past year have printed, probably definitely over 5,000 hours combined, probably closer to 6,000 hours combined, printing PPE that we donated and other different parts for myself. So let's get started. Alright guys, so this is the second printer. This is the original one. So I'm going to be doing the whole setup on the original one and printing a part. This is printing a stand right now. I think this prints like 18 hours long. That one I don't know yet. I'm going to show you how I program it on Cura and all that. These printers, as I said, I've owned them for a year. I purchased both of them. None of this stuff was given to me, and they're basically, for the most part, unmodified. So the only modifications I've done is they both have Wham Bam flex sheets or TH3D. I have a couple different build surfaces that I can put on them depending on what I'm printing. So both of them work great. Honestly, although both Wham Bams are down at the moment, I think I prefer the TH3D, especially when it comes to price. It's a little bit cheaper, but they're both phenomenal. So, and there's a link down below if you want to get one to help them out. Also, we have sticker packs, we have keychains that we 3D printed, stuff like that. Any help for the channel, greatly appreciated. So, what do I think about these printers? I love them. So when I wanted to buy a 3D printer, I wanted something that I didn't have to upgrade everything on it to make it work properly. I really didn't want to mess with it. I just want to print parts. I know a lot of people like taking them apart and trying to get them to print better and so on and so forth. That's a great fun part of it, but I just need something that's going to work without messing with it. So the upgrades that I have done, which I did a video, which there'll be a link like right here, to fans where I tested a whole bunch of different fans. This is what I ended up finding out worked best. The only other upgrade is I went with aluminum arm, which they're like 20 bucks, something like that. It's worked great. I never broke the original one, but it was flimsy, and I thought I was getting skipping, which is why I went with it. Now, what I haven't done, I haven't upgraded the firmware. This is the original firmware that the machine came with. I don't have a touch probe. I set it off manually. The reason I like the flex build plate is a lot of these machines, when they come from the factory, have a little warp. Now, I personally found that after, I don't know, less than 10 hours of printing, the warp went away, and it really didn't matter. And if for some reason you notice that you're getting a warp, you can actually just put a little piece of paper in the low spot on the flex build plate underneath it, and it'll rectify the issue. I'm not a fan of mesh bed leveling, especially on the stock 8-bit board. I'm a big proponent of the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. So you have to remember, in the G code, the way the machine's processing it, when you set it up the way the factory does, the Z stays in the same position all the time, and it's flat, and then everything moves up and down accordingly. With mesh bed leveling, it's getting all these different points, so that means your straight line that you're programming to go, your machine actually has to go up, down, up, down, up, down to make up for it. I think a lot of people that have issues with these machines, it's from them doing things like that. As I said, I've printed, 6,000 hours on this thing, on both of them, and I very rarely have a failed print. The only thing I really do, which I've messed with, the general glue stick, I really only use the magic goo now, Magi Goo. This stuff is awesome. It's expensive. I think it's like $20 a bottle or something, but it lasts a really long time. I've had this a long time and I've only used maybe like a third of it. But you put this down and you can be far away from the print and it just sticks. So I just use that. I'm good to go. And as I said, a lot of people, these are the first machines you're buying. You start changing everything on it and then you don't really know where you're at. When I built both of these machines, I went through them with a fine-tooth comb. I put everything together properly using tools I have from doing electrical work, and building actual CNC machines. I don't have any cable strain reliefs on any of them. Never had a cable failure. The only failure I truly had was on this machine. The main board failed, and the build plate started to run away, and I was by it. I shut it off, and Artillery covered it, no question. Unfortunately, it was during COVID. It took months. I ended up buying a board to replace it from 3D Hobbies. I think that was the company, or no, Friendly Hobbies. They sent it to me quickly, flashed with the firmware, and that's been in it since. I have a video how to do that. I can link that like here or there, whatever. But that was the only problem on either one of these machines, and I have not modified them. So that's not saying not to modify yours. I just want to put it in, run it, and print. I use Cura, and the prints just come out good. So let's go over to the computer now. I'll show you what we're going to print a shock assembly stand for RC cars. So I'll show you how I program that, and then we'll set it up on this machine, and then we'll do a little time lapse watching both machine print parts. All right, guys, so here we go. What version of Cura is this? I don't even know. Four point 4.8. So let's open a file. Tool stand. So this is what I want to make. So I'm just using the Cura Artillery Sidewinder profile, generic PLA. We're just using the standard Cura profile, generic PLA, standard. Let's go up here, layer height, yeah. Infill 20%. I've been doing gyroid lately. Printing temp 220. Yeah, let's do 210. Print speed 75 millimeters. Enable Z-Hop. This doesn't need any support, and that should be good. Let's slice it. Ready. 16.5 hours. Throw the memory card in. It's not recognizing the card. There we go. Save to removable. Perfect. Let's go back to the 3D printer, put filament, and start printing. All right. So everything's preheated. Let's go. Now the only reason I did that is this magic goo, when hot filament touches it, it glues to it. So I try to make sure it doesn't get a chance to stick. Grab a piece of paper. Let's level it. Go around one more time, because as you adjust it, it can cause it to move around a little bit. Go. So this is the really cool thing with the Wham Bam mat. That's the reason I like it. This is actually a different... I made that stand a little bit larger because I thought the other one was too small. But this is why I love the Wham Bam mat. Perfectly popped off. The larger a print gets, the harder they are to pop off, and a lot of times you're beating on the printer to try to separate it, and you can knock everything out of whack. This way you just lift the corner, pops off, you're ready to rock and roll. I'll show you the same with this one when it's done, and you can see this is, you know, probably 80% of the build plate, and you'll see it pops off just that easy. Definitely worth every penny. As I said, these are the Wham Bam mats, but I also really like the TH3D. There's a link down below to both. The TH3D is actually affiliate link, so if you buy it through there, it helps us out. So here are some of the different flex build plates offered. So this is the Wham Bam. These are the TH3D, so easy flex. This is the textured version, and this is the standard version. You know, there's glue stick and stuff on it. This I like because it's not perfectly smooth. It gives a little texture. You can get a little more texture, or, you know, super smooth. They all work phenomenally for the money. I think this is the best. But, you know, people ask me why get a flex build plate. The larger the surface area, the harder it is to get off a machine. And this is about 80%. Boom. I mean, for something that size, you know, I don't think you can beat it. Alrighty, so the first of those prints was the shock stand. It really came out great. So it was, I don't know, 16-hour print. So the main idea of this is to be able to assemble RC shocks, fill them with oil, have all the different pieces, etc. Neat little tray, worked out really well, printed great. The second one of the prints I did just show, you know, after a year how it's printing, was this, which I wasn't really paying attention when I started printing it to how small it actually was. So this really would only work for like my son's little mini tee. So after this was done printing, I raised it to 155% and printed this one, which also came out really good. So really nice model. I'll link it in the description below. It was downloaded off Thingiverse. So both of them came out perfect. So now onto the printer. You know, as I've said, I've had these for both about a year. You know, combined well over 5,000 hours. What have I learned? They're awesome printers. One thing I haven't done is I haven't gone messing with it. So I really, you know, it's the original firmware. You know, this one has a different board, which the firmware was put on it by, who was it? Friendly Hobbies, when, you know, that issue happened, which I did the YouTube video, you know, how to do the main board, which I'll link to like over here. Other than that, these have worked perfectly. A whole bunch of people say, you know, the cable ribbon issues. When I assembled this, I went through it really carefully, assembled everything where everything fit nicely. These are the original cables that came with it. There's no cable strain relief. That's not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I never did it and I never had a cable issue. That's not saying people don't have them. I just haven't. These have been fairly unmolested. The only thing that I've done is I go through, I check the tension on the wheels. You know, a lot of people put way too much tension on them. You know, you just want to be able to tighten them so when you rotate your finger on them, they just kind of slip. You know, if you do that, the wheels are going to last a long time and everything's going to track right and not push too hard. You know, you want your belts to be tight, but not to overdo it. So, as I said, you know, the only upgrades I did, you know, this is an aftermarket fan and fan shroud. I did another YouTube video on that. There's a link over here. You guys saw that. Honestly, the OEM fan worked really well. I was surprised. And the fan shroud I was using before that was, you know, rank number 4 or 5. So, you know, it's everything's stock and they work great. That's not saying if you get one and you want to mess with it, don't do it. The whole idea of me buying a 3D printer was to be able to make parts, to be able to teach my son different stuff, and I didn't want to be messing with it. And I wanted a printer that I could just put stuff in and run it, and that's what I've done. The different build plates I have, so I have the Wham Bam, I have the E3D Flex Texture, and the standard TH3D, and the standard E-Flex TH3D. I got to figure out, with this video, I'm going to end up giving away one of the Wham Bam mats that I have, or a TH3D. I have a couple brand new ones that I purchased that I've just never used, and I just want to give it away to you guys for helping out the channel. So, in the comments below, tell me how you guys think, would be a good way to do a giveaway. I'd like to hook you guys up. So, on to stuff that has broken or worn out. This one had the main board. This one, everything's basically original. So I replaced the levers with aluminum levers, a while ago. Never had one break. To me personally, it's having it tensioned properly, but I didn't like how much the stock one flexed, so I put that in. Other than that, really the only part that's worn out on me is this little piece, which the filament runs through. See it? So, which sits, right on the other side of the drive wheel. These wear out every 1,500 hours or so. So, and when I got these, I was reading everybody, all the parts they were going through, and I did what I tell customers never to do. And I went through and I bought a whole bunch of parts. So, this is the one I mainly do PETG, so this has an all-metal hot end. This still has the PTFE tube. So, I have PTFE tube for, when it starts to wear. I have heat brakes, heat blocks, heat brakes, heaters, everything. I even have an extra main board now because it took forever for Artillery to get me the main board. So I had ordered one from Friendly, and then that one came, so now it's my backup. So, and I had all those parts, and when the printer died, the one part I didn't have was the part I needed, which is kind of how it always happens. So, I've seen online, there's been certain versions that have had problems. The other tricky thing with this printer is it's really a beginner printer. So, a lot of guys are learning, and you can damage these machines pretty easily if you don't know what you're doing. You can set them up wrong so they don't work right. Having a mechanical background has really helped me because I can check everything and kind of get a good idea before I start, and I've had great success. That's not saying that there haven't been some defective machines. Anything that heats up as hot as these do and work as many hours, stuff can go wrong, and this one had, a main board failure. But for the money, I don't think there's a better 3D printer even now on the market over a year later. So, I set this up, I watch the first layer go down, I walk away, and the prints are always right. That's all I can ask for. Could I tune it and do whatever and possibly get better prints? Sure, maybe, but the prints I'm getting are pretty amazing. So, to me, personally, this is good enough. I just want to be able to make parts, and I've had great success making parts. So, I hope you guys like this video. One last thing, sorry. This magic goo is awesome. So I've used glue stick mainly because I heard horror stories of the PEX and PEI sheets, PETG sticking to it and damaging it, stuff like that. So I was told or taught, always have a thin film of something so that way you're separating the film from the sheet. One, you get better adhesion. Two, less chance of damaging anything. Since I started using this, you can have it so, there's almost no squish on the layer, and it still sticks. I've been really, really impressed. It's expensive. I think this bottle's like 20 bucks, but it's lasted me a long time, and it works phenomenally. So if you're getting into 3D printing, get this stuff. And I buy it outright, so it's not like I'm getting any type of break or discount for telling people. It really, really works well. The other thing I gotta say is, personally, if you're getting a 3D printer and you're just getting into it, buy something that you know is going to work without having to modify everything on it. That way you can have more fun playing with it than figuring out, what you did and what's wrong and why it's not working. These things have just worked flawlessly for me. I've printed thousands of PPE. So everything from, you know, the ear protectors for the face masks. Do I have any up here? Of course I don't. The face shields, you know, all of them that we donated. My wife's a nurse. I didn't want any money from it. I just wanted to help people out that were helping us out in a really crappy time. And it's a really cool thing to go to a doctor's office and hand some nurses like ear protectors and stuff like that and just say thank you. And they're super grateful for it. And it's a cool thing with this particular industry, hobby, whatever you want to call it, because it's great to see people that just give back. You know, sometimes just helping somebody out and putting a smile on their face is worth more than any money can really give, and that's the thing I find super cool with it. Everybody tries to help each other out. You know, it's an open source basic environment. So as I said, you know, these things have been awesome for making PPE for people, and they ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for months and months and months, and just worked non-stop without any problems, just reloading filament. I couldn't be happier with these. Hopefully if you have purchased one, you got the same results that I did. If you're thinking about purchasing one, me personally, for 400 bucks, there's not a better printer out there on the market. But if you're going to buy one, I would recommend just use it how it is and have fun with it. Enjoy it, and then after you learn how to use it, if you want to tinker, start tinkering. So, like always guys, please like, share, subscribe, put a comment down below how you think I should give away a Wham Bam system for this. You know, actually, you know, if there's enough people that we get a good enough idea, you guys, I have a affiliate link for TH3D, and I have money in there from everybody, you know, buying stuff off the link. You know, if we come up with somebody that wins that doesn't have this printer and has a different one, you know, I'll take that money and, you know, pay it forward to, you know, one of the people on the channel that's helped us out. So help me out with ideas. I don't really know how to do giveaways. There's a couple giveaways I want to do. I want to do this. I want to give away some sticker packs and stuff like that. So if you guys could put a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. You know, what would be a cool way to go at doing a giveaway. I don't know whether to do it in comments on YouTube, you know, do it on Instagram or on Facebook, or, you know, I would think more Instagram or YouTube. I'm preferring YouTube, so put a comment down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and everybody have a good day. Hope everybody had a great week. Thanks for watching.